I'm Lori and I love books. Today's tea is from Traditional Medicinals, and it's called An Organic Cup of Sunshine, and it's canna honeybush. And I grew up with honeysuckle, so I'm hoping it's very reminiscent of eating the honey from the honeysuckle. No, it doesn't taste like honeysuckle. It does taste sort of like dandelions, I think, but not as like doesn't have like as strong a taste as that. But it's a very subtle taste. It's very nice. But yeah, I'm not tasting any honey like I was hoping. But I don't really know what a can of honeybush is. I guess I'll have to look that up. So I'm gonna be making some changes to my channel. So I'm going to do Magazine Mondays, where I talk about a couple magazines because I want to encourage everybody to read, and not everybody loves reading books, but I do think everybody should love reading because it's I think the best way to learn new things and to stimulate your imagination, and I think it's something everybody should do, and there should be access for everybody to be able to read. So, reading comic books and graphic novels, to me, that's the same as reading a chapter book. And reading, if you have reading problems, reading books that are just with only pictures and no words, I think that is also just as important. So, I'll be doing Magazine Mondays, my regular BookTube Saturday videos. Sundays I'll be on Instagrams, and I'm at Lori_loves_books. And then Tuesdays will be on Goodreads, and I have a Children's Classics Club, and we're reading from the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basil E. Frankweiler for May. And this edition I got from Barnes & Noble, and it's got like a little velvet blue cover, and I'm I think on page 10, so I just started this and I'm hoping to finish it this weekend. So today I have some book suggestions for May, and so I have some children's books, and then some nonfiction book, and then some classics, or children's classics and adult classics. So the first one is a pop-up book called Fairies Magical Gardens, and that is my cat attacking probably nothing. Oh goodness. I think she sees her eyelashes, and she thinks it's like a bug or something, and so she pounces where she thinks she sees them, and I'm not entirely certain about her. I've had her for almost a year now, and she's still extremely wild and very playful, but I'm not entirely certain what she attacks most of the time. But this has lots of flowers in it and fairies, and it's a pop-up book, and it's very colorful, and then it has butterflies, which I love. And this is just a really fun book that I think young children would love. And it's got a fairly simple story, so it's not very complicated to read. And then it also even has like the little ribbon to tie the covers together. And that's the back. And then these next book I found at an independent children's bookstore. It was just children's books, and I loved it. And unfortunately, it is no longer there. It got turned into a store that sells like sport team memorabilia. And I'm just like, I really wish it had stayed a bookstore. But this is the Rainbow Goblins by Olde Rico. And this is a very colorful picture book with lots of illustrations. I used to read this when I taught older children. And it's just gorgeous illustrations. It's about the rainbow goblins who gobble up the rainbows. And this is them dreaming of eating lots of rainbows. And then they eventually are swept away, and then the flowers turn back into birds, because the rainbow was like hiding. So it's a gorgeous book. It's got a good story, and the children loved it when I used to read it to them. And then it does have a sequel called The White Goblin. And these illustrations are a little more subdued, or, you know, they're gorgeous. They're just not as colorful. And it's been so long since I've read this one, I don't entirely remember what it's about, so I'll have to reread it at some point. But it is something I've had for many years now. And then the next book is Floriography. This is the nonfiction book, An Illustrated Guide to Victorian Language of Flowers by Jessica Rue. When I was studying Hamlet in junior college, I went through the flowers that Ophelia was talking about. You know, some rue for you and some for me, but you must wear your rue with a difference. So this would definitely have helped me then. I have a much smaller book that just says the name of the flower and then the meaning. But this has like a picture of an illustration of the flower, and then it has the name, the meaning. So this is columbine, and it means foolishness, and then the origin, and then if you pair it with what that changes the meaning to, and then it does reference some Shakespeare as well as some other literary works. So this was a really beautiful book. I think I've shown it in a haul video as well as my monthly wrap-up video, because I did read that not that long ago, and I think I read it after January. So the first classic is a children's classic, and that's The Secret Garden. This edition I got from Barnes & Noble. So it's a hardcover. It's got the gold edges and a ribbon for a bookmark, which I love when they come with their own bookmarks, even though I have a whole bookmark collection. I also love when books come with bookmarks. So I've read this probably multiple times. I've watched most of the movies that Hallmark has put out. And I just always loved this story. It's about a little girl who goes to live with her uncle in his English mansion on the moors, and she has to, you know, go from being, and yes, my cat's still playing, so I'm sorry that's so distracting. She's normally sleeping now, so she meets Dickens, who has a lot of animals. So this is just like a really beautiful book about, you know, a child learning to be healthier and more giving and loving of others. And I do actually have 2 editions of that. So this is the other edition I got. That's a paperback. And I haven't read this one yet, but it has the uneven edges. So I'm planning on reading that this month. And then the last book is Phantastes, Fairy Romance for Men and Women by George MacDonald. He is one of my favorite authors. This book is about a man who finds out on his birthday that he's related to fairies, and he gets to go to fairyland for an adventure. He travels through a lot of different places, and he has adventures along the way. And then he winds up helping people that are in fairyland. And it does have some beautiful illustrations as well. This is when his bedroom transforms. And there's like a girl who is trying to make butterfly wings at one point, and so it's just a beautiful story. It's got one of the classic ghost stories in it as well. And so I do highly recommend this and lots of his other works as well. So those are the book suggestions I have for May. Do you have any book suggestions for May as well that you want to put in the comments? I'd love to hear them, or even just what you're reading, because I love getting more books on my to be read list. Even though I have, I think, 30 books currently on my to be read list, I always want to add more. So thank you. And I hope you have a lovely time reading. Bye!